Can living organisms power society? That's what we'll be talking about in this video. As a society, we need energy. So, just as life needs energy to continue, so does society. Human societies are currently using energy at a rate that is not sustainable. Our goal will be to find ways to use energy that is available sustainably. Prior to recent advances in technology, human cultures would often use animals as a source of work. This could be using oxen or horses to help plow a field or to pull large carts. Sometimes even large dogs could be used to pull sleds. Then we were able to do things like use flowing water or even wind to turn a mill to grind grain or to perform different actions. These past sources of work are deemed to be insufficient. For modern society. In this day, most cultures are now using fossil fuels to power their societies. Horses, oxen, and even dogs were used to pull sleighs and plows. Modern engines are even measured in terms of horsepower to talk about how much energy and how much power is in that engine. Fossil fuels are the products of photosynthesis in the past. If you recall, photosynthesis takes carbon dioxide and water to make organic molecules and oxygen gas. Burning these organic molecules with oxygen gas releases energy, but also releases carbon dioxide that has been sequestered. If we think back to those equations in lecture 4.1, the organic molecules and oxygen are going to be the reactants in cellular respiration, and the products are carbon dioxide and water, whereas that carbon dioxide and water are used as the reactants during photosynthesis to produce those organic molecules and oxygen gas. Burning fossil fuel provides energy to societies, but it does take carbon that had been sequestered or removed from the atmosphere and adds it back to the atmosphere at a rate faster than carbon dioxide is being removed. As a greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide can contribute to increased global temperatures. While there are a lot of fossil fuels sequestered in the Earth's crust, they are not being added back at an appreciable rate at this point in geologic history. They are finite and can run out. Here we see a mining operation for coal. Coal is another example of a fossil fuel that was made from organic material produced in the past. It is the product of photosynthesis in the past. Now, a renewable energy source is one which does not require past events in order to produce it. Renewable sources of energy include solar, wind, geothermal, and other sources. One of the difficulties of renewable energy is storing that energy until it is needed. Some ways to store energy is to keep water elevated behind a barrier, and only release it when the energy is needed. That flowing water can turn a turbine to generate electricity. That will be used then. Unfortunately, our battery technology is not yet sufficient to store a large amount of electricity for a long time. One goal is to try to use current photosynthesis to generate fuel molecules. Some of the benefits are that it pulls carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere to generate the energy molecules. So, when it is burned for energy, the total addition to the atmosphere matches what was taken out. We call this carbon neutral, because the energy that's being produced did not increase the total amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So when we look at different organisms can do this, well, corn has been grown to produce ethanol, which can be added to gasoline, which is derived from fossil fuels, the gasoline is. But with the addition of ethanol, we can reduce how much of the gasoline is actually from past photosynthetic products and how much of it is from current photosynthesis. Algae have also been used, as they can be grown in these recirculating water systems, and they can attempt to convert carbon dioxide into energy-rich lipids and oils. One of the benefits of biofuels is that they are converting solar energy into chemical energy that is more stable to store than just electricity, which can be difficult to store. Methane can also be used as a source of fuel. Methane can be found with fossil fuels, and this is sometimes called natural gas, and a lot of times when oils and other fossil fuels are being collected, the methane is actually just burned off right at the source and it isn't even collected. However, methane can also be produced by living animals, by decomposing organic matter, and also by bacteria and archaea in low oxygen settings. Renewable natural gas is a methane which is produced by non-fossil fuel sources. There was recently a story about a young man named Alhaji Siraj Ba in Sierra Leone who is manufacturing charcoal through the use of coconut shells and other plant wastes. In his community, there ended up being a lot of landslides because of deforestation of local forests, because of the local populace using the trees for energy sources, for cooking, for heating, for a variety of other things. And so he is trying to convert plant waste that is present, again, coconut shells and other things, convert those into charcoals that can be used instead of harvesting the trees in the native area, which is causing the landslides. So there are many different ways and many different people who are trying to figure out ways to use biological sources of energy more responsibly and in a way that is safer and sustainable. And that completes Module 4. We'll have more lecture in Module 6.